Doing a thing. You'll notice.
That's an incredible intro.
Perfect. Flawless.
You'll notice that I'm in a different box than I am usually in. That is because I'm in charge today because payback is a bitch.
No pressure. I'm just going to be watching.
It's fine.
This
is fine. Everything is fine.
I will calculate all embarrassment in the form of damage, which you will now take later in the afternoon.
Great. Perfect.
I wouldn't
sounds like
him
exactly
too much. He didn't
what
live through the
expecting.
first table flip. So
anyway, so this is table flip. I am running a game for the first time for a table of experienced DMs who know what they're doing. The twist today, however, is that we are playing a game called Clockwork Dominion, which only one of them has played, aside from me.
Oh,
That's Puck.
I mean, I consulted on the player's manual.
Yeah, right.
Didn't I tell you that? No, I didn't.
He wrote it. Ryan wrote it, actually. He's never played it, but he wrote it.
I thought that other guy wrote it.
I don't know. I wrote it today.
Okay, well, I remember nothing. Except
That's
my
good.
character's really cool.
I'm glad about that. I hate your character. It's fine.
You're supposed to be unbiased. That's the first thing about being a DM. Lesson one.
First thing is that it's my fucking game, so get in line.
oh damn, she's figured out the secret.
Learning a little too quick.
So I think we usually hijack it from Kevin pretty quickly.
Yeah, we do.
All right, so narrator.
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce these people?
Yeah, so I'm so excited about everybody that's here today. So I'm just going to start in the top and work my way down, except for Puck. I'm going to skip him and go last. So first we have TheFelix, the brain behind the Fool's Gold campaign, playing Lady Caroline. And I'm going to get into character descriptions in a minute because I have an idea for that.
Okay.
And then we have Sean, Puck, Lord of Chaos, as you may know him, playing Robin Goodfellow, who is a character that you can see in our other Clockwork campaign. And then we have the one, the only, Marshall Kevin / Guy, playing Dr. John Watson, who is pretty self-explanatory. And we also have Ryan, who is also Baptiste, playing Oates, an inventor type guy that I can't wait to hear him speak. So, with all of that being said, this game is a steampunk horror game. And in this particular instance, they are boarding a Zeppelin, a 400-foot air Zeppelin that is flying from Sao Paulo, Brazil to London. It's 1896, and at this time, this is the fastest commercial airship that has been seen in the world. There were other ones that have been made flights in the past, but none of them were as this fast. This trip will be made in 3 days from Brazil to London. So, as all of you kind of approach the Egret, it looms over you. This thing is huge. It's 400 feet long, and she dwarfs any other blimps or vessels that you see in the hangars. And by comparison, they look just fat and graceless. They got nothing on this ship. It's built for speed and only the most important passengers and cargo. So, as you walk up, why don't Felix tell us who we see first?
You would see approaching the ship a very well dressed in her witchfinder clothes, 70-year-old lady who is very much in denial about her age, probably seen by various layers of makeup and the way she holds herself. I think she appears very well mannered and always has her nose slightly raised to the heavens.
As she would.
She struts towards the ship, judging it a little. It really could be bigger.
Okay. So.
Phrasing.
But couldn't it always be bigger, honestly?
I think there's a point where that turns over. But anyways.
Just get closer and sprint.
She walks up to the ship first, and she is followed by, perhaps because he has noticed another witchfinder in his midst, Mr. Robin Goodfellow.
Mr. Robin Goodfellow is a tall man. He is clearly new to high society in this world. He is kind of lucked into it. He is still wearing his Witchfinder clothes. However, it's like a summer version of those, being in Sao Paulo, Brazil. He's not dealing with the heat well, and he is cautiously stepping up to this Zeppelin, and he's looking at it. He's like, another Witchfinder. That's good.
Yeah.
That's
somebody I have something in common with.
He doesn't like the blimp at all. He is visibly nervous.
I mean, he can leave. That's Robin can just leave. It's fine.
But he only has tickets for the blimp, and he needs to get back to London.
Okay. Well,
this was a business trip.
All right. And then
the first one's out of the game in 8 minutes.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Get back here, you fuck. And shortly followed by him is one Dr. John Watson. But maybe not the John Watson that you're expecting.
Yeah, not quite. Visibly, for sure. He is exactly the Basil Rathbone's companion. So he's got the full tweed suit with the waistcoat underneath. It's not just a three-piece suit. The vest has lapels of its own. The chain fob, everything, the curly hair, the whole deal. And he's actually stepped away from the mucky mucks and the high rollers. He's actually got his little book open. He's talking to the stevedores and doing math about how many cubic meters of helium it's taking to lift this thing.
Perfect. So he's doing math. The one witchfighter's got her air in the nose. The other one, I don't care what
He's looking at it, looking at his ticket, takes 3 steps forward, and then turns around, waves the ticket, curses a couple times.
He's like freaking out.
And then does the shake.
And then finally, bring up the rear, we have Oates. So what do we see when we see Oates?
Well, what you'll see, probably a little way from the gangplank, actually, there's probably the first thing that you see is a almost maybe 6 foot tall, bright, gleaming copper suit of armor, maybe. Like it's a little pudgy around the middle. Has a big bucket head. And next to that is a much shorter person, like very nice, well-worn explorer's boots and pants, but then like a gentleman's waistcoat that's a little out of fashion, very clearly like a high society woman's parasol that's keeping the sun off of them, has like an ascot, but also a fur shawl, and is wearing like button up elbow length gloves, and is clearly in a heated argument with a steward who keeps trying to attach a like stowage luggage tag to the copper robot thing. And Oates, this other person, is just like quiet but livid about how that is not how this is going to happen.
So that's going on off to the side. I would like you all to make a check that I will tell you what it is in approximately 15 seconds.
Very well.
So make a focus. No, make a reason and investigation check.
Okie dokie.
Right in the wheelhouse, right off the start.
That's oof.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a little bit of that.
See, your thing works. Nobody else's does.
And a card, right?
Yeah. See. Yeah. Nope. The joke there is that I programmed a bunch of macros and only one of them works.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
So what would you like me to just
So,
add it all
okay.
up, draw the card, and tell you?
Oh
Yeah.
God.
That's unfortunate.
And this is going to be a difficulty 2.
Well, I've got a 0.
Oh, good.
So
I got an 8.
I have a 7.
well, look at you, Mr. High Numbers all across the board.
What about Lady Caroline? What does Lady Caroline got?
My card froze on the screen. I gotta draw another one.
Oh, good. Love that.
Let me try
I
that
love it
again.
all. I love everything. It's
There we
fine.
go.
There we go. Ooh,
Oh, look at those.
So what's your final score? So
That's
you're
gonna be an 8.
okay. So
Oh no, I'm sorry. That adds 2. I've been drawing the negatives all before the game. I have a 9.
yes.
I have a 9.
Oh, okay, good.
It's
All right.
nice to have numbers without minuses in front of them.
Yeah, if you would actually just all type what your final score was into
Sure.
chat, that way I can remember and the audience can remember. So, Robin
We're all
is-
good at this almost.
consumed by his own fear, and he
That's-
knows that there's
That's
a ship-
consistent. I heard he's tried these things out in Germany, and that helium makes you loopy. Whole thing burnt down. Bunch of crats go right down, laughing their heads off. It was the most frightening thing anyone's ever seen.
I'm
terrified.
shocking. Also, is that a different accent than what
It might
you
be.
did?
It might be. I played a game with a bunch of Australians. And
I
it
just wanna
fucked me
make
right
sure.
up.
So wait. So I just want to make sure. So you're going on record and calling that Australian?
I have no idea what it is.
Anyway,
It's okay.
I'm just saying that I played a game with a bunch of Australians and I think it messed me up.
so Robin is kind of he doesn't really it's a ship. He's scared of it. It's fine. All of the rest of you had 8s. So the rest of you see on the ship it says Egret across the front of it, and kind of like the trademark symbol. So there's a little trademark symbol, but it's a gear with a G in it. So you see that.
Company logo or anything that we recognize?
So when we look at it, it really says Gegret.
Maybe.
It all makes sense.
The gadget company.
Can do.
I'll get you next time.
I really need to pull up just a blank character sheet so that I know the tests I want to do. Okay. If you want to see if you recognize it, you can do. For this one, it would be a reason plus mysteries.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I'm good at one of those.
Right.
What's the
That one, not
what's
so
the
much.
difficulty here?
That's going to be a difficulty 3.
Oh, interesting. So
And then
I
if you'll, for all the
I
trait
don't
tests,
know
if
what
you'll
this means.
put your, oh shit. Well, you know.
I don't.
Is it a Doom card?
Oates
No,
does.
no, it's exactly the opposite.
Oh,
It's the
okay.
fake card.
Oh,
So
Hey,
it means I
we
recognize
win.
it really well.
Yeah, we're done.
It's in the same movie.
We nailed it, guys. Good work, everybody.
That's all right. That's a wrap.
We won.
We lost
We
Robin
were-
7
we
months
were
ago, but other than
RPGs.
that, it was a good game.
That's awesome.
So,
This
and if
is
you'll,
exactly how it went in rehearsal.
if you'll put your, I scripted for you to not draw the fate card yet. Damn it! It's not in the script.
The prop was in the wrong place. Don't touch my props.
You're supposed to handle your own props. You should know that as a
checked
professor.
My props. Deck captain. Deck captain. So I draw the fight, but my total was only a 1.
Well, the fate card means you succeed.
Cool.
So, yeah, Felix, you might have heard something about this. All of you have heard maybe something about this.
Who's Felix? I only see Lady Catherine here. Or Caroline.
Who's Catherine?
So I don't know who Catherine is.
That's what Robin's gonna call her.
I'm hallucinating. I'm so terrified.
He's already on the wrong bloody airship. Great.
Looking for a boat.
2.5 hours from now, we
Oates knows, and this makes sense for Oates. Oates knows that is the symbol of who would own this, or who would have the patent pending, or the patent for this airship, which is Gearstrip Industries. And yep. Yep.
References.
And you know that the owner of Gearstrip Industries has never been seen in the public eye. There are only legends about a man known as Wendell Gearstrip that owns and operates this office with this patent.
I'm so proud.
On the other side, you know that means this airship is never going to make it where it's going.
This thing is a death trap. This out here.
Yeah. So you also know, because with a fate card, I mean, you know basically everything there is to know about Gearstrip. So you know that there's legends that say he's never been seen in the public eye. He just kind of appeared out of nowhere. Nobody really knows where he came from. There's like no family history. It's just a really weird scenario where this guy just showed up and was like, yo, I built this airship and it works.
You know how they talked back then.
And he's 8 foot tall with a shock of white hair and arms like tree trunks.
Basically. So, you know that. The rest of you are just like, I don't know. It kind of looks familiar a little bit, maybe. I don't know. Who cares?
This is terrifying. I don't want to go in this.
So as you are walking up to this ship, you see them loading mail bags and pallets onto this. There's a few large containers that are waiting to be loaded. And your tickets were expensive. So it kind of, if you think about it, the amount of money that it costs just to transport you and your things, the amount of money that it would cost to transport these big crates is extensive.
Exorbitant.
So as you
Robin would want to know exactly how much, because he would see this as a business opportunity for the future.
You can do a reason and refinement.
Okay. Reason and refinement?
Yeah.
Let me draw them cards.
Again, I think you might be good at one of those things.
Yeah, no, maybe. We'll see what happens.
Maybe not even one.
Let's see if I get enough. Well, okay, I got this -1. And my reason and refinement are, I have reason of 2, and I have refinement of not very much, I'm certain. 0.
Oh, good.
That's a 1.
And this will be a difficulty 4 to know exactly. I mean, because if you're trying to figure out exactly how much it costs to transport a bunch of stuff.
So it's a lot then. I could perhaps charge insurance for this kind of thing. Not that I think anything's going to go wrong. But I'm just saying that perhaps there's an opportunity to insure these goods for a certain amount of money.
Is Robin talking?
He just like grabs like a random cargo hand who doesn't know anything.
Okay. I just wanted to check that was the case or not.
For a moment, the fear abates.
Okay.
Witchfinders have like a uniform, right? Basically, like that would be really obvious that that's what they are.
Yes.
Okay.
Especially Lady Caroline, because she is in her typical uniform.
And she's like high-ranking witchfinder.
She outranks Robin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
By a wide margin.
You can tell by you would be able to tell by her dress that there's a religious aspect to what she does.
And Lady Caroline, Robin is very visibly flexing his witchfinder status on this cargo hand to get information. I just want you to know this.
Okay.
I'm just gonna let this happen.
I think I gotta head over there and check out what the hell the scene is all about. Because it seems like a witchfinder is acting a bit out of rank.
Why?
Oh shit!
Oh shit! Nana's here. Okay, now.
Think I approach him from behind, tap him on the shoulder, and like, "Excuse me."
Just a minute. I'm just talking to my friend here. Oh, pardon me.
The steward says, "I'm not your friend." And I don't know you at all.
We're about to be friends. I'm talking to another friend here. Hang on.
I don't think we are. And he just continues loading.
Archdeacon, my apologies. I did not know that you were out here. What has brought you to these darkest jungles?
First of all, I am not your friend. And second, I am on a business trip back to London. I presume you are as well.
Yeah, what a coincidence. I was just coming down here looking for some new trading opportunities. And I am on my way back as well in this marvel of engineering. Did you hear what happened in Germany?
No. What did happen in Germany?
They fly these things, and that helium gas that they put up inside makes you all loopy. So the whole thing goes down in flames, and a bunch of krauts, they burn to death with big smiles on their face. It was horrifying.
His conception of this is really...
Yeah, no,
he does not get it. Okay.
The thing about Robin is he's confident that he knows everything when he knows nothing.
Did I overhear you trying to sell insurance?
I'm not yet.
You're a witchfinder, are you not?
I am a witchfinder, but I'm not traveling with my sister right now, so I'm not necessarily here in official capacity.
Does Lady Caroline have any points in science?
She does not.
Okay. Good. This is great. I love this.
So neither one of us knows. I love it. I'm not here in any official capacity. My sister has a bit of business back down in London, so I figured I'd come down here and tend to the family business and look for some new trading opportunities. I was just scouting around for some
as you're kind
business.
Of going on this spiel. There's 4 men in blue suits.
Oh,
in crisp blue uniforms line up. At the kind of the receiving bay where the passengers would get onto the ship, and they kind of they don't necessarily yell at you, but they're kind of authoritative in their stance of, we have a time schedule to keep up, and they start kind of motioning people to get on the airship.
Pardon me, Archdeacon. I guess we got to get on. You wouldn't happen to have a boat pass I could trade you?
Boat pass? No, I do not.
Okay, just asking. I apologize. I'll be on my best behavior. I did not know you were here.
Even if I wasn't here, I always expect you to act on your best behavior.
Oh, absolutely. Pardon my transgressions.
Now quit your yammering and board the airship.
As you wish, madam.
I love it. I don't have to do it.
He's attempting to acquiesce completely because he is aware of how drastically outclassed he is in the situation.
So as you're kind of lining up, you have the two co-captains greet you. Their names are Malloy and Finch. And then you have two ship's mates who are Sterling and Pivens. They have name tags on. And as you board, the chief steward, who has been in a slight heated argument with Oates about his stowaway carriage that he wishes to bring on, and Mr. Crick, the cabin steward, I did a test for this. They kind of have given up. And they kind of take the tag off. But they're looking at you they're not happy about this. And so
once he gets his way, Oates is completely oblivious.
Yeah. Yep.
This is fine.
This tracks. So Chief Steward Hay, he reaches out his hand to all of you. And then Mr. Crick, the cabin steward, reaches out his hand to all of you, and they greet you. And as you come into the lounge, it's this super nice, lavish lounge. There's like these two large tables that seat six people. There's these two smaller tables like along the wall. They're like two people tables. And it's super nice, like dark woods, lacquered, plush fabrics, leather, like a nice patterned wallpaper. And then, of course, everything is bolted to the floor. There's electric lamps on the walls. So inside the passenger gondola, there's on both sides windows. The sides are just made of windows. So you can see out. And when the ship goes up, you'll be able to see out into the ocean. So they kind of usher you in, and there's champagne and chocolates and pastries, and they're circulating the room, checking your tickets, and give you the keys to your cabins, and they take your bags to your cabin for you. It's all very posh.
Excellent.
Which some of you may be used to. And so everything, I said some. Mm-hmm. So they kind of get everything settled, and Mr. Hay stands up and he says, "Thank you for flying with us on the Egret. I must be retreating now to take care of duties before we take off. I will leave you in the wonderful care of Mr. Crick." And so he kind of goes, and after a few minutes, you kind of see them untying the ropes on the side of the ship, and you start just
like, is it that obvious?
Okay, very, very important question. Are there any seats with seatbelts?
I imagine yes.
Okay.
It's not like modern day seatbelts though, right? It's like you've got it's just like a belt buckle.
Okay.
Basically.
Robin has grabbed a plate of snacks and a drink and gone to the closest seat with a seatbelt, and he has strapped it on, put the stuff in front of him, and he's just clutching the armrests.
Oh.
I love it. It's perfect.
The doctor will walk across and sit directly across from this scared religious man, open up his little book and start writing again, shaking his head. "I say, old chap, I've done the math 20 times. It says the damn thing won't fly."
Oh, that's comforting. I'm glad you come over and dropped that little tidbit on me.
Who are you? Oh, I'm sure once faith will get one through.
Yeah. Pardon me. My name's Robin Goodfellow, Witchfinder Star. I'd point to the badge, but I do not want to let go of the armrests. And you are?
I am, first of all, wondering why you haven't got a real job.
Look, I kill monsters, all right? That is a real job. I could tell you shit that would turn you white.
And I just look at him sitting there white and pale in front of me.
And I should note, like, as this conversation is happening, the ship is lifting higher and higher.
Yeah, no, it's just like visibly more distressed.
And the propellers are starting to turn, and like there's like kind of a low rumble.
Did you hear what happened in Germany? A friend of mine saw it.
Can you just tell everybody this Germany story so you don't have to bring it up anymore?
It's like he's gonna keep bringing it up at every opportunity.
Is Germany a country?
Is it still Prussia? Is it still Austro-Prussia? Did you hear what happened?
And as this ship starts rising, I want Robin to make a will and composure test.
Excellent.
And this is going to be difficulty 2.
Okay. Well, I've failed on better odds.
And then tell me what the final result is.
All right. Ooh, well, hey, I've got +2 already. And what was it? Will and composure?
Yep.
All right. Well, those numbers are really good. Will is 2, and composure is also 2. So I've got 6.
6. Okay.
So despite my rattled demeanor,
you don't puke all over Dr. John Watson, and you are able to kind of, once the ship has leveled off, you're able to kind of calm down a little bit, and you're still anxious, but you're kind of it's okay. Everything's okay.
You're one of them learned fellows, right? You're into science.
Snap the book shut, still confused, and shove it inside my jacket. What? Science? Yes. Science.
I work with a fellow like you. Tell me what you think about all this. Is man really meant to fly, or are we all going to our untimely deaths up here?
And
meant to fly? It's not about meant. We simply are. We weren't a moment ago, and now we are, and then sooner or later we won't be again.
Watson, make a...
Just like wide-eyed at that statement.
Make a focus and intuition check.
Don't have intuition as a second option. Will?
Did I leave something
under
out
aptitudes? It's giving me, actually, you know what? That's not giving me the aptitudes. It's giving me something else. So
intuition should be just above investigation.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
It just didn't ask me the right thing. So my investigation is for my...
no, intuition.
Oh.
So it's focus and intuition.
Oh, sorry. Intuition is 0. Focus is 2. So...
Okay, so 2.
2 plus.
And it's a difficulty 2, so you're at 0. So what's your card?
I hope it's good. It's going to be a good card.
You know how sometimes things don't change things? This is one of those things.
There we go.
All right.
That's awesome.
Changes.
So you feel as if you're being watched. That's about it.
That's not abnormal.
Well, I got it right at that point, just by crossing over and hearing the sciences and all that kind of stuff. You see the very strangely dressed person and the large copper and brass robot walking.
Which, by the way, people are fine with you, but if Otto comes near them, they kind of like tense up and like they don't know, they don't exactly know how to take it.
Okay.
There is a man that comes over. And he's kind of watching from afar, and he's looking back and forth between Otto and you and Watson.
Oh, okay.
And he's just kind of it's like he doesn't know where to go.
Okay. Well, I wander. I make my way over. Sort of. I overhear a little piece of this conversation, and so they wander over, and the automaton is like carrying a plate just full of snacks and stuff and all of that kind of stuff. And walking up, you see you see Oates that walks up and he says, "Well, that's just about the best possible way of explaining the sciences that I've ever heard. Oh, it's so wonderful to see another fellow learned man. How are you doing?" And has already grabbed your hand and is shaking it.
Oh, yeah. Shaking it with one hand. The other hand just reaches out and takes a snack off the tray like it's the most natural thing in the world. They had a choice of canapes.
What just happened?
And then turns to Robin.
I think what just happened is John Watson just fell in love.
I mean, I've read about it and seen some of the schematics, of course. I mean, just about everybody does before they get one of these things. But being on it is just so wonderful. And it's so sturdy and light. And he starts jumping up and down.
Everybody is... People are like there's a family on here. And like the parents, there's like a family with kids. And they're kind of like, there's a man in priest's robes that
like starts crossing himself rapidly.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my god.
It's like, Archdeacon, do you know last rice?
And the man walks up to you after you speak. He walks up to you and Watson, and he reaches out his hand and he says, "Why, hello, I am Dr. Filiano Montalban." And he kind of shakes your hand. He shakes both of your hands.
That's absolutely fantastic. You can call me Oates because everybody calls me Oates.
And he tries to shake Otto's hand.
What's his name? Flax.
Wait. I was ready.
He reaches out to shake Otto's hand, and he kind of waits for Otto to do something.
Yep. Oates turns to Otto and says, "Otto, reach out and shake the nice man's hand."
As you wish.
And he shakes his hand.
And Dr. Montalban he's so excited and he gets so happy and he's like doing one of those things where he's like he turns him and he was like looking at him and he picks.
Oh, he's touching him and moving him around.
This is not
Well, now, Otto, you just let the man take a look. I mean, everybody is a little bit curious from time to time.
May I please be excused? I need to go somewhere else.
I mean, you're free to roam
Scrambles
about.
out of the chair.
Yeah, just loud enough so that...
Robin jumps out the window. He's like, nope.
Yeah, loud enough so Robin can hear. I say, I do hope it doesn't make sparks.
He's going right to find Lady Caroline. It's like, there are devils on this plane, and we need to get to work.
And Lady Caroline, the father that I mentioned, he's not spoken to you, but he has seen you and knows what you are, and he is standing close to you so that in the event things go sideways, he is near someone that's of the cloth.
I take note, but I don't say anything to him.
And I should say, Dr. Montalban has like a patterned suit and a bow tie, and Watson you would actually recognize him. He is a pharmacologist and a botanist traveling to present papers on rainforest flora from the Amazon and their medical uses. So he's going back to London to present at the Royal Society.
Right.
His findings.
Right.
So
I say,
and you would know that because
any
it's
of
very
your damn dirt and rocks and whatnot stuck in it.
You what?
Savage.
Well, I can't say that I don't know what you're doing. I am keeping abreast of such things. I was down here searching out the medical properties myself.
Breast.
Who's this dude?
Oh my god.
And he like pulls out his notebooks and shows you his research, and he's got
Poppycock.
seeds.
Poppycock.
There's like
Nonsense.
seeds taped to
Rubbish.
the page.
Foolishness. Studied
And
it
he
my
says,
whole life,
"What?
young man.
Well, I
There are
beg
two
your pardon,
things
sir.
There are two things that flowers are good for: making yourself so stupid you don't remember that your leg hurts, and giving yourself the energy to run for 3 days for no apparent purpose.
Why, sir, those very things you define are medical uses of a product. But that's not what I'm
Medical
studying.
uses? Making a man so damned blasted he can't see the other side of the room from where he lies? That's not useful.
Well,
Well,
it
they
would
also
seem to
look
me
so
you've had
pretty in a
something of that today.
vase.
Can't. Every time
I
Ryan
turn
speaks,
to Oates. I'm not saying that for recreational purposes. There's all kinds of wonderful plants out there for that, but they have a word for alternative medicine that works. Yes, we call it medicine.
But you just said the word medicine twice, and this is a learned scholar and a presenter at the Royal Society.
stop.
You, sir, I wish to speak with you about this creation of yours. There's nothing in it, then, is there?
So eventually,
I'm trying to have 3 conversations at once.
Yeah.
yeah, literally. So eventually, like, all this goes on, and everybody certain people go to their cabins. Some people stay to see what the entertainments are going to be. But there's a bell that rings like over kind of like an intercom system, and they announce that dinner will be served in 10 minutes. So if everyone could please make their way to the forward lounge, which is just the lounge area. They will start. The steward will come out and he'll pull out drinks, and there's a drinks cabinet and a humidor, and he brings dinner, and kind of everybody sits down and has dinner, and then he remains in the lounge.
That direction, I offer my arm to Oates.
I don't know what Oates is doing about that. Oh God.
Okay.
Oates is typing.
He'll just kind of like loop his arm in your arm.
Yep.
And say and all of that kind of stuff. And he says, "So where exactly was it that you studied? I did like to sneak into some of the autopsy rooms and take a look at things when we were at Oxford. It was a really great way of just, being able to see how the joints and the ligaments and everything would work. It's where I had the idea. You know how the femur can come apart if you pull real hard? I had the idea to do this. Oh, Otto, show him. Otto, let's do spider mode."
As you wish.
And he turns from a bipedal thing, and he kind of like rotates and drops down, and his arms split and his legs split. And he's got 4 little legs, and Oates just plops down on top of him. So he's holding your arm as he's riding on top of Otto, and you could swear that you hear Otto when he plops down, because Oates is kind of heavy.
Yeah.
You could hear Otto go,
This is not ideal.
As that's happening, Father Iago walks up to Lady Caroline, and he just stands behind you with his hands kind of to his side, and he starts speaking a couple of scriptures that are about just scriptures about like dangerous people and what nonsense this all is, basically.
And at this point, I would love to go up to Lady Caroline and be like, Ashigan, I would like to report upon this event.
Oh God.
I turned to face and was like, all right, you have my attention. Report.
I don't know if you noticed, but there's a man made of metal over there, and he talks and moves like a living statue. And he just turned into a bloomin' spider over there, and I ain't had that much to drink yet.
And I should mention too, when he turns into a spider, the kids that are on here, like they're like, ah! And they like run to their cabins.
I imagine everyone is horrified.
Can Otto overhear that conversation?
I'm pretty sure it's bedeviled.
I'm inclined to agree.
I know. It's a tough one.
Battle lines are drawn. It's early.
I can't remember what the tech for this is supposed to be, so we're just gonna say focus and intuition until I figure out what it's supposed to be.
Okay, what's the difficulty?
They're not like trying to hide it, so I'd say difficulty 1.
Oh.
Shouting.
Yeah, like it's not super difficult.
It's still not. It's a
Oh
0.
shit.
Oh, fuck.
It's a 0.
So yeah, it's 0.
So you know that they're talking. That's about it.
Okay. He knows that they're talking about him?
No, he knows that they're talking, just in general.
Then
that they are talking to each other.
Right.
All right. So, what was your name again, by the way?
I am Witchfinder Stall Robin Goodfellow. I usually work with my sister, but she's away at the moment.
All right. So, I'm Archdeacon Caroline, and why don't you show me how you would deal with this situation?
That's a dangerous fucking free action card to give to Robin, but thank you.
Oh god!
I'll give you a
This is
chance
how
to
it
impress
ends.
me.
PVPTPK.
Yeah.
All right. Allow me to show you the tools of my profession, of which I'm certain you're quite familiar with. And I walk over. Witchfinder pistol comes out. And I'm like, excuse me, was it Mr. Oates?
Why, yes. When he
It's,
sees
it's,
the gun.
it's not pointed. It's just at his side.
He sees it.
I'm right behind Robin. I'm following him.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thanks for backing me up.
Auto pops up, and you do hear.
Dead or alive.
And
the steward the steward comes over, and he says,
Your gun! He has a gun! He has a pistol!
I am on official Witchfinder business.
Sky Marshal! Sky Marshal!
and he's like distraught, and he says, I'm Mr. Crick, and you can't do this.
Well, I am officially.
Yes, exactly.
He
Mr.
says
Crick
you
and I
need
are
to-
good friends, and you cannot have a pistol on an aereo device.
I am investigating a poultice event. Your Meccano man is bedeviled.
Damn
No,
it!
he's
And
not.
I
He runs
strike.
on batteries.
Now, sir, I must implore you. You need to put your gun away.
I hit him, Robin, in the back of the wrist, using my medicine ability to find the right spot to attempt to knock the pistol out of his hand.
Okay.
Oh,
the
shit.
reason that will be
Somebody has to take control of
will
this
be-
damn situation.
a reason and medicine check, and that's going to be hard to hit. So that's going to be a difficulty 4.
Reason and
What?
medicine. There's those. That's
'Cause that's
7
gonna be a-
before I draw a card.
Tough hit to make. So you're starting at 7, and then so you're starting at 3. So let's see what that.
Damn
card
it.
is.
No,
What is it? I can't say.
Minus
Oh.
one.
negative.
Okay.
I hate negative modifiers. Have I mentioned that?
So, but you started at 3, so you're only at a 2. So you do it.
Mm-hmm.
You managed to just knock. You hit him right on the spot that you need. That you know you need.
Right on the bone of the elbow,
Mhm.
actually, or
Yep.
the wrist will actually do it pretty
You've
effectively.
done this to Sherlock a lot of times.
Yes,
so
and
you
lots of
know,
other people. Yes.
Like yeah.
What the?
And
I should say, old chap, use your words.
This is a precautionary measure.
and Mr. Crick says, Mr. Crick says, he says, this just won't do. This just won't do. And
Okay,
he starts putting up dinner service and closing the liquor cabinets, and he kind of tells everyone, because by this point it's it's late evening.
The windows, do they tilt out? So, you could
not
lean
quite,
and look down?
not that
quite?
much.
Okay.
They're-
but
they're-
yeah.
probably.
So I'm going
like,
to take his pistol and lean it
they
against
kind
the
of
window.
curve.
Yeah. I'm going to put it in a place where he has to walk right up to the window to get his pistol back.
That was an ugly thing to do.
And everybody
I
else
just don't
kind
know
of-
how to thank you. I know what it is. I will send Mr. Otto here to find you a very nice dessert. Shall we?
And everybody
Arm
kind
back
of
out like nothing
starts
happened.
going
Back
to
into the-
bed.
Yeah.
And Father Iago, he kind of walks to the middle of the room and he says, I will be holding mass in the morning for anyone that wishes to participate. I hope you have a lovely evening. And then he kind of just, he walks off. And it's weird. He's middle-aged, but you can't tell if he's like 40 or if he's like 60. It's kind of hard to tell,
It's like Emmett
exactly.
Brown in the first Back to the Future.
Yeah, it's like unsure.
He's between 30 and 100.
Yeah, and it's and he hasn't really talked to anybody minus the prayer that he said with Lady Caroline. So he just kind of keeps to himself. And Dr. Montalban will pull, like, while everyone else goes to bed for the rest of the night, he will pull Oates aside, and Oates and Otto aside, and he will talk all night as long as Oates will let him about engineering and kind of
Did
all
you,
that kind of stuff.
Mr. Montalban, did you hear that real funny joke that priesty man made? He said he's going to be holding mass, but this entire dirigible holds mass. I mean, it's just mass with a little bit of velocity.
He like hard chuckles. Like it's like he's already nice and friendly, and he's kind of, he basically looks like Kevin.
Nice and friendly.
Yeah. And but he's got
quite
this
sure how to
patterned
take
suit and
that.
bow tie, and he laughs and chuckles, and as he does, he like subconsciously straightens his bow tie. He's like and it's just kind of that, and he'll talk with you all night, like as long as you'll let him.
Yeah, by the time like 1 o'clock rolls around, Otto leans in.
This is not ideal.
Oh, you're absolutely right. It is so late. We should do this over coffee in the morning. Okay, bye.
And so like everybody kind of starts going to bed. Is there anything that anybody wants to do before bed?
I spend the rest of the evening crawling across the dining hall.
Trying to get to your gun.
It's just like, oh Lord.
You have triggered a failsafe. You have triggered a failsafe.
And Deacon, I'm sorry, you're going to have to talk to that man.
So everybody kind of wraps up for the night and goes to bed. And in the morning, there's kind of the typical, everybody's kind of in line because there's only like one or two lavatories. So everybody's kind of, standing in line, and Father Iago.
I was just about to say there's a porthole, right?
And Father Iago, he does the morning
We're over the
mass
ocean.
for anyone that wishes to participate. And they have, by the time you all get up, there's like a tea and coffee service set out in the lounge, so you can get tea and coffee. And Crick is there, and when Robin walks out in the morning, Crick kind of looks at him, and like he's like watching you, like keeping an eye on you. He looks really nervous when you walk out. And there's another man in a blue uniform that's just kind of bustling about and kind of moving some things around and doing things. And after a while, they announce that breakfast is coming, and everybody goes, and there's eggs and toast and scones and fruit. Like, it's a super nice breakfast. And then you kind of sit down and you're starting to eat. And as you start to eat, the ship starts to turn and drop altitude a little bit. It's nothing like, it's nothing like, it's not a sharp turn. It just kind of slowly turns and starts to drop.
I don't know his name yet, but I look over at Robin and just shake my head.
Yeah.
I think Robin spends the entire morning in the mass.
And kind of And like Dr. Montalban, when this starts happening, kind of looks, he looks to Father Iago and he says, "Don't, you should be less worried about the fallen nature of man." And then everything kind of stops, and Crick kind of is like fluttering about, and he says,
"Are we over water or over
yes,
the forest?"
You are over water.
Okay.
You're over the ocean. And Crick says, "Something must be wrong. I'm going to go see what this is about. Please stay here. Everything will be fine. Everything is fine."
I'm glad I'm praying.
And he leaves
I'm following him. I'm one step behind Crick all the way along.
This is not ideal.
I think you're right. We should go see what's going on.
That damn thing's got a phrase for everything. And
as he he notices you following him, and he when he goes up to the galley, he shuts the envelope down and locks it on the top. So there you can't.
He's going to physically have to stop me from coming through.
Crick.
I will put my shoulder to the door on if I can get there at time.
So it's not a door; it's actually an overhead hatch. So he climbed up a ladder.
Yep.
And he is. Yeah, there you go. And he says, "Sir, you can't. You're not authorized to be in this area."
Well, I'm not.
Are you planning on shooting me, sir?
I just want to know what's going on.
No, but
then lead on.
You're not authorized.
Do you see this? And I hold up my fist.
Make a.
Fuck. We're going to escalate shit quickly around here.
Make a present. That's a new one. Make a presence and command.
I will do so. Look at me go. That's 5 plus.
And this is this is like his only job. So this is going to be a difficulty 4.
Can we like assist each other in this game?
So the way that kind of works is you would do your own test.
Don't
All right,
need it.
I'm
That's
there. I would like to.
Made an 8. Okay.
I made an 8.
So Mr. Crick kind of.
Never mind.
He sees you raise your fist and he flinches, and he says, "You."
I didn't run away in Afghanistan, son. I'm not running now.
He says, "But you and only you." And he kind of he lets you up, and he shuts it before Oates can get a word out. And
do not, young person. I will be back.
And as the two
All
of
right,
you,
then.
you two are walking towards the pilot's cabin, and the ship, the angle of the dive steepens, and all of you that are still sitting in the dining room, your plates start to slide around the table. It's kind of like turbulence, and
Does that R2 scream?
And it starts to like descend faster, and it kind of vibrates. The whole ship vibrates and groans, and there's like from above, those of you down below can hear like heavy thuds, and John needs to make a grace and athletics check.
This is not ideal.
Grace and athletics, you say?
Yes.
Here, I was thinking, this John guy's got to get his shit together. Come on, dude. She told you to do something.
Yeah, come on, John.
Yeah, jeez, John. Wow.
Whoever that guy is.
Oh, that's a 0.
Well, and
That's not good.
Add the difficulty, and that's -2.
Excellent.
So you are how do I want to do this? The ship tilts to about a 45-degree angle.
Yep.
And you try with all of your might to grab onto something.
Yep.
But you don't. You miss. And you slip, and there's like as you're kind of falling, you like land back up against a wall, and a mail parcel like falls on top of you. It's not heavy, so it doesn't hurt you.
Did you just assume that parcel's gender?
Yes.
I don't know who that was in the background,
Anyway.
but it was amazing.
We broke the producer.
That's the producer. We broke her. So basically, what happens?
Mute your mic.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry.
So you're not pinned. You
No.
can fairly easily move it and get up. But as you're kind of laying there, and before you can do anything, you see Hay, which is the chief steward. He runs by you and he opens that hatch that you just crawled through.
Yeah.
And he lowers his head down and he says, "Quick, now! I need every able body up here to lend aid. The load's shifting. If the cargo starts spilling, it'll be a disaster for us all." And then kind of as soon as he finishes saying it, you hear bang, 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 bang. And there's a crash. And you feel the ship kind of tilt. Just
Make a heart attack check.
Just die.
Yeah, it's like you know how people look when they die in like The Ring or Grudge. It's just you go into the little chapel where the master. It's just Robin clutching a sword and a gun.
So that happens, and he says, "Shit!" And he like climbs back up. Father Iago like gets up and throws his plate to the side and gets up, and then two other passengers, like one passenger gets up who you have actually not seen since you boarded the ship. This man gets up and he goes up the hatch, and then the father of the family he goes up, and then Dr. Montalban goes up.
I'll head up as well.
Okay.
Get this damn bag off of me and follow him. Yeah.
Crick, like he basically doesn't do anything, but he pretends to help get the bag off of you.
Yep. Well, he's getting the stink eye anyway because he turned down help, and now they're screaming for help. So he's obviously an idiot. So
Yeah. So
At that point,
Hay tells Iago and Hotch, who's the man that you hadn't seen before, that he tells them, like, he says, go that way, help. And then is Oates going up? I know Lady
well,
Caroline
I was
is.
going to say to make it be a little bit fun, because I know a bunch of other people did. At that point, the little what's it called in a hospital where you can go to pray? The chapel.
Chapel,
Yeah.
Yeah, the little chapel where Goodfellow is. Oates just sort of dramatically bursts through the doorway and says, "Mr. Goodfellow, Robin, witch hunter, help! I know we got off on the wrong foot, but we all need everybody here, please!" And runs up and is like grabbing around the way. He says, "Please come with me. Please come with me. Mr. Watson's dead."
In what proximity is Otto? Is the next question.
So that's going on downstairs. Upstairs, so you get up there and there's just stuff everywhere. Like there's male or female, whatever they want to be, parcels. There's like crates everywhere. So each of you that are climbing up, I need you to make a Grace plus athletics check. And that's going to be difficulty 3. And this is to see, because it's tilted like this. So you're kind of climbing like at this angle.
Difficulty 3.
Yes. Oh, shit.
Oh, geez. Those old bones.
Those old bones, yeah.
Man, all these great numbers, and I can't draw a card to save my life.
So you weren't climbing up the ladder, but you do manage to stand up. Like you stand back up and you're able to kind of brace yourself. And you manage to get like, because there's these big like steel beams kind of running every so often. You manage to kind of hold on to one of those.
And am I in the storage area? Like I can see stuff sliding around?
Yeah, you're in the envelope. You can see stuff. And Hay is standing there and he's like directing people. And then
we're still
Lady
dropping?
Caroline is following.
All's out a window.
So Lady Caroline, you basically you like climb and like every other time that you go to climb up the next ladder, your hand slips, and so you have to keep starting over. And so it takes you a while, and like everybody behind you is like, "Can you just let us go, and then you can do whatever you're doing?" Like,
don't rush perfection.
Yeah.
Keep going up.
And don't look up my skirt.
And so you eventually make it up there, and Hay is standing there. Like I said, he's barking orders.
He's trying to move stuff. That's too slow. I'm trying to rip a hole in the envelope. I'm trying to.
There was a previous hum of the engines, and that's gone.
Oh yeah, if we're still going down, I am not trying to move this stuff. I'm ripping a hole in the bottom of the envelope and pushing shit out the hole, if I can. I'm gonna rip the hole in the envelope and let all the stuff fall out, so we can not crash into the ocean. Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes that DM screen just isn't high enough, is it? It's not
Goodbye, Watson. It was great knowing you. I really enjoyed the character. It was nice.
He's not what I thought he was going to be. Just kill him.
Well, we're going to do that in a minute. So while you're trying to figure out how to do a really dumb thing, everybody else is gonna. Everybody else. Not me. I know, right?
He takes situations into his own hands. It's right there. This is what he does.
So everybody, he tells you to start redistributing everything. Hayes yells at everybody else, and so Lady Caroline, and I guess you're the only one that's up there right now. Do either a reason and engineering or a vigor and athletics to determine how best to do this. Actually, do that too, Watson. Reason and engineering or vigor and athletics.
Go with vigor and athletics.
If you can learn anything to divert you from your terrible course of action.
I mean,
reason and
small voice tells you it's a bad idea.
I mean, just physics.
Physics is the small voice. And then he pulls the card and it's like, physics, never heard of her.
I don't know about physics, but apparently I really like red cards.
There you go. This sounds like a great plan. You're excited to be a part of it.
Nope. It does indeed sound like a great plan.
Yep. That's a 4.
So what was your test result, Lady Caroline?
I rolled vigor and athletics, and I got a 5.
Oh, good. Okay. So after you recover from your clumsy climb up the ladder, and you start putting things back into place.
Mm-hmm.
And you put a couple of things back into place, and just a hair, the ship tilts back to normal.
Okay.
And then the others, Father Yago, they do the same things. And let's see how they do.
Have we made it back up there to help?
Yeah, as soon as I do this, it'll be up there. Yeah, so Father Yago, he's old and frail, so he kind of tries, but he doesn't really get anywhere. But Dr. Montalban and like the guy that you haven't seen before, they are able to successfully kind of put things back, and just ever so slightly, with every like set of stuff, the ship starts to just kind of turn back. And what did you get on yours, Watson?
Total of a 4.
Okay. So what are you trying to do?
Well, I've got this lovely cane, and it's got the metal tip on the end of it. and I'm going to use that metal tip to drive it through the outside of the envelope and then pry a big hole and then start shoving mailbags and everything I can get a hold of that's heavy out that hole so it can fall in the ocean and keep us from drowning.
So here's my question. From the there's it's like a walkway.
Yep.
So you're about 20 feet, 30 feet from being able to access the envelope.
Okay.
Because what it is it's this big envelope and there's a walkway right down the middle and the beams connect and then there's outside beams and then there's inside beams. So the catwalk is on the inside beams that don't actually hold the envelope open.
Okay. In that case, I would be looking for a hatch or something. Still trying to get weight off this ship.
Okay.
Like if they got this stuff into this hold, there has to be a way to get it out. So I'm looking
By the time you find it, it'll all be redistributed. To the right way.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So there's no hatch. The only hatch that you know from right here goes directly back down into the passenger gondola.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a
Okay.
like a walkway thing. So you can do some kind of a something.
You can do a thing.
If that's the case, then I would probably just be running back and forth on this catwalk, having bad ideas that I can't follow through on. So,
because
But what if I?
Yeah. Because the ship was, Gearstrip's a smart guy, so he designed the ship that you can't access.
In case an idiot wanted to poke a hole in it.
It is designed so that, okay, so you kind of go back and you run back and forth, and as you're running back and forth, doing nothing actually useful, everybody else.
That's fair.
Oates comes up, and is Robin coming with Oates?
I imagine Robin reluctantly comes with Oates because Robin's ego, for an opportunity to do something heroic, would override his fear.
So when you get up there,
you have redeemed yourself in my eyes.
When you get up there,
he turns around and goes back down.
Hay's still standing there barking orders. And he sees you come up and he says, you go, over there, you over there. And he kind of points you both in different directions. And then both of you can make reason and engineering or vigor and athletics difficulty 4.
Oh,
sure thing.
Those are all things that I'm good at.
I don't.
That's probably true.
Your character sheet.
Well, I mean.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, that's. I mean, it's the same either way.
What's the final result? Oh,
let's find out. Sorry, I was trying to pick the most optimal configuration for this, but
as you do.
Haha! I got a 4 anyway.
Hey.
And I add 2 to that, so I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm very good at it.
Yes, you are very good at it. He gives you a section.
9.
Okay. Well, Oates is better, so sorry about your ego.
I'm an engineer.
I know.
Oates is an engineer and an inventor.
It's
I
noticed,
mastery in
and it's
engineering.
parsed away
So
in that file that says clear devilry.
Hay gives you a section, right? Hay's like, okay, take this section and do it. And you do that section and then part of another section, and you're able to kind of.
Well, I've got Mr. Otto helping me move stuff.
And Oates, he says, okay, you take this section, and you look up, and by the time you finished your section at about half of another section, Oates has this wall is back into place, and the straps are clicked back on things, and the ship is level again by the time Oates and Otto are done.
It's just like a knowing glance to the Archdeacon.
Yeah.
You seeing this shit?
Very disapproving glance back at you.
Yeah.
As soon as it's stable, I want to start looking to see if I can figure out what caused this. How did this stuff come loose? Because if it's all strapped in place,
right?
Yeah.
Well, it's not all strapped in place, but there's like some heavier stuff. That is.
But yeah, I want to.
strapped in place.
When it's appropriate, I want to start looking and seeing what I can figure out about what happened.
Just a second. Okay, so you kind of start putting everything back, and everybody's kind of working frantically, and eventually, the ship kind of comes back, and Mr. Hay kind of gathers you all, and he brings you back down into the passenger gondola. And he says thank you so much for all your help. I'm going to try to figure out what has happened. And as he says that, you hear, "Ah!"
It wasn't me.
I say, ever so sorry.
And Mr. Hay kind of, he looks and he kind of makes a face, and he says, "Thank you, but it is not safe. You need to return to the cabins immediately." And up and hatch closed. And then he says, "Someone will update you presently." And he hatch closed, and there's like as he's climbing up, you can see. Or no, he doesn't close the hatch because he's in a hurry. So he just goes up, and you can kind of hear the footsteps of like crew members kind of milling about. And you are for now left unguarded in the envelope.
Well,
I'm
I do think
immediately
that
going back to
perhaps we should try to figure out what that scream was, but also I'm real hungry.
Okay.
And I could go with a good proper cup of British tea.
Did I die in the jungle?
Right? Am I actually dead?
Mr. Goodfellow, you were so heroic up there. I mean, you took so much time making sure everything was in its right place. I mean, you barely did anything while everyone else got everything else done because you wanted to make sure that it was all perfect. I admire that.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Watson, you're here.
And the dad that he kind of he says we were told to go down.
Oh yes, I'd be happy to. And he takes a pen out to sign whatever it is.
No. They told us to go back. We need to go down to the gondola. And he starts climbing down, and then Dr. Montalban follows.
Oh, Ricardo, wait for me.
Interesting.
I just thought that was your first name.
Probably, yeah.
It would make sense.
And I should note, Father Iago has not come back.
Oh, good.
Great.
I'm going back into the storage area.
Okay.
The envelope.
Yeah.
So basically, in the envelope,
this shit.
it's this long, it's this long catwalk across the envelope, and there's these big storage boxes kind of on either side. And what is everybody saying? What are we doing?
I would like to talk to Lady Caroline again.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out what fell apart in the storage. So.
An attempt to.
So are you going toward where the screen came from, Watson? Just so I know.
No, not even vaguely interested in the scream. I'm still trying to figure out what happened in the all the mailbags and everything. Why everything shifted? We were flying nice and straight. Why did everything shift? That's
okay.
All right.
Okay.
Oates will stay to try to, even though he wants to go back down, Oates will stay and help do all of this. Is Goodfellow leaving to talk, or are you staying here with us?
I think we're all here, aren't we?
I'm going to stay with everybody because Robin's got a plan. And so you should all be very afraid. Okay. I'll speak in Caroline.
Yes.
I believe something's going wrong in this here flying balloon.
I believe so as well.
Well,
We should have a
all good
look.
balloons fly, you big silly Billy.
Actually, you can hear me out. I find myself without my field crew, and we are clearly in the midst of something that the Witchfinders should definitely be taking an interest in. Wouldn't you agree?
Agreed.
Do you have the authority to conscript new science officers for the purposes of an impromptu investigation?
I suppose I do.
Perhaps these two individuals could be our science officers for this investigation, and the two of us could lead it up.
Possibly. I mean, one of them did manage to disarm you in 2 seconds.
I don't remember it that way, but it I think it was the Pontus working against me, but it
was something.
But I certainly wouldn't argue with you, Archdeacon. But if we can conscript these people, we can form an impromptu investigation team and get to the bottom of this. Of course, you would be the lead.
Of course. I agree with your line of reason. Let's go speak with them and see if we can conscript them for this cause.
Well thought, Archdeacon. I will back you up.
Well, hi,
I go
Archdeacon.
approach
We're
the
right
rest.
here. You had that conversation about 3 feet away from us. It was a little bit rude, but hi.
Hello.
He has to reach up a little to shake your hand.
Well,
You can
first
call
of
me
all,
Oates because everybody calls me Oates, and this here's Mr. Otto.
right.
It's short for automaton.
And pointing at Watson, your name is?
Oh, John Watson. Yes. Retired.
So
Lady-
is everybody going to stay in the envelope?
I think we are, yeah.
Okay. So make a focus. Make a focus and focus and composure.
All right. Let's focus our
Stay in the
composure.
envelope.
Yeah.
So that family's dead.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever did all that screaming, yeah, they're gone. Yeah.
It's okay.
I got a
We're-
The scream came from the pilot car. Direction to the pilot car. It was up here.
Oh, okay.
Focus on what?
Composition. No, composure. Jesus Christ.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's fine.
Everything's cool.
I know words. It's
Oddly
fine.
ironic how you couldn't come up with the word composure at that moment. That's
I'm running a game for the first time. Shut up.
And you're
What's the
composed.
difficulty?
you're doing exceptionally well doing what we're doing to you.
Difficulty 3.
Oh, difficulty 3. Okay, I was 6.
Okay.
I also have a 6.
Okay. So you all kind of, as you start to look around, you see the direction that Mr. Hay and Crick went, and you see them. You can hear them in the distance. You can hear Mr. Crick's like fumbling as he does with his words and shit, and you kind of follow. And right in front of the pilot car, about 2 of these frames back, there is Father Iago is pinned against the wall by a heavy metal cylinder. He's pale. He's kind of mouthing words and like he's coughing blood and you can't really understand him. Mr. Crick is panicking and he has blood all over his hands and he's like trying with everything this man has in him to pull this canister off of Father Iago.
And
He's not having any luck.
This is finally in John's wheelhouse.
And like as you're coming up, these other airmen try to help him, and they pull the canister off. They manage to pull it off, and it kind of clang, clang, clang against the deck. And you see the center of his chest is smashed inwards.
Yeah.
And you can see that even if his body hasn't quite caught up yet, he's a dead man. But go ahead, Watson.
Yeah, he would figure that out right away. He's been literally through the wars in Afghanistan. Turn first to the crew. Damnable fools, one and all! You should have left that there. It was at least stopping the bleeding. Good God!
So
there's nothing I can do. So I just bend down and just stay
do
in his eyes.
Do a reason and medicine difficulty 9. It's real bad, y'all. It's real bad.
Bad news.
It's
Bad
real
news
bad.
bears.
Body, so that's a 7 plus a car. I mean, this is potentially doable.
It is.
You bring him back to life.
Well, not quite.
Well, you say. But that's a 9.
Okay. So
Hallelujah.
that is a degree of success 0, which means you do it.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's degrees of success, man.
Yeah, he's alive, but that's it. Yeah.
So he has you assess immediately. He's got broken ribs. His lung is collapsed. His vertebrae shattered. His organs are smashed. Even stabilizing him would keep him alive for about a minute. And if you kind of lean, because you said you were going to lean in close to him.
Yeah.
You hear him. He says, "Not him. 3 shapes." And he takes his final breath. And as he kind of takes his final breath, his hand reaches into his jacket pocket, and you can see, because you would know that, like, you know, how the arm muscles contract.
Yeah.
You can see his hand close around something as he takes his last breath.
Absolutely. I will make sure I'm sure he's a battlefield medic. I'm sure he knows how to do this without anybody seeing. Just a little bit of pressure just on the carotid just to make sure that he's done suffering.
Uh-huh.
And then use the other hand to take that arm out and pry those fingers open before they start to stiffen.
So do a grace. Are you trying to hide it?
Not at all.
That you're taking the thing. Okay.
No. I just want to get his hand open before I have to break the fingers.
So let's see. Do a grace and composure. And this will be difficulty 3. So you're at a 0 right now.
It ain't getting any much better than that. It's a 1, so 4 total.
Okay. So with your difficulty, that would be a 1. So you got a degree of success 1.
Yeah.
So you are able to take it without breaking his fingers.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, hold on, please hold. I know what it is, I swear. I just gotta find it.
This is a real thing.
It is a thing. It is a real freaking thing. Basically, it's a rosary. It's like I'm trying to find the description of it.
If it's a rosary, I will take a cursory examination to make sure that there's nothing different about it, and then turn around and throw it to the religious people.
Just throw it at them.
God dudes.
Yeah.
Backstory wise, in actual Afghanistan, there was 15,000 soldiers, camp followers, and everything else that left Kabul to flee to India, and 1 doctor made it out of 15,000. John's that doctor.
Oh,
Damn.
he's a survivor.
Yeah.
Not gonna give up.
Which is why he will do anything to survive, right?
I found it.
Drop this airship? Yep, damn it. You absolutely.
Told you it was real. I found it. Okay.
Okay.
So do a focus and investigation, difficulty 5.
Focus and investigation. I'm so glad I maxed that as my stat. And 1 card and a draw. And what are you? Oh, son of a... I hate this deck. I like this game. I like this deck.
The cards are against me.
That's a 3.
Oof.
Okay. So 6 money. Okay, so yeah. So what you do know is it's very expensive and beautifully made.
Mhm.
The chain and the mountings are pure silver. All the beads are pure silver. And the beads themselves, the mountings and the chain are pure silver. The beads themselves are they kind of look like obsidian or some other kind of precious stone. The crucifix is a super detailed miniature of Christ, and it's got tiny slivers of gold as a halo and chips of rubies detecting the wounds on his hands, feet, and torso.
Wow. So whoever this person is, they didn't read that part about humility and
This is
being poor and sharing. They didn't read any of that part. So that's even worse because now they're not only religious, they're religious snobs. So it's just over his shoulder back towards the religious people. And
So
make
that was
sure that
6.
he's in a because he's gonna rigor mortis is gonna set in. So he's trying to put him in a position where he's going to be,
Yep. Do
easy to
you
box.
pass off the rosary?
Not pass. I'd literally throw it at the two of them.
Let's see.
I'll
Is anybody going to try to catch it?
I'll try to catch it.
Yeah, go for it, Lady Caroline. Show me how it's done.
All right.
Do a grace and we'll go grace and athletics.
All right.
And does Watson give any warning or does he just throw it?
No, he's worried about he's doctoring, so he's worried about his charge, even though they're dead.
All right, so
Lady
then
Caroline's got skills.
Be a difficulty 3.
All right, well, blew that shit out of the water.
Oh yeah, you're fine. Lady Caroline, you never think you would see an old woman move that fast, but Lady Caroline jumps into the air and catches it and lands perfectly coiffed. Not a hair out of place.
Yeah. You see her Air Jordans with
that's literally That's basically what
she's on her feet all day. They're comfortable.
Yeah.
And so Lady Caroline, are you going to take a look at it? This thing that you just randomly caught?
Yeah, I catch
right
it
up at her side.
I examine it.
Okay. Do a focus investigation difficulty 5 or focus and burglary difficulty 3.
Burglary? It's eyebrow raised.
I just see her using all of her training and her Robin names, and it goes, actually, I stole one just like that. I know exactly what that is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have stole it. I'd have purchased it in an unfair deal.
Took it into
difficulty
possession on
3,
behalf of the church.
With the difficulty 3, I get a 3.
Okay. So then draw your card because you're breaking even right now. So.
Oh, I think
I
that's
got
total.
a 6, and that's 3 after the difficulty.
Okay, cool. All right. So as you're kind of looking at it, you're turning it over and kind of looking at it, and you catch, and you can rotate it, and if you rotate it, the figure on it, the base of it slides out, and it's a little box containing a key.
Oh,
peculiar.
That's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
You ever seen anything like this, Archdeacon?
Yes, I've seen keys before.
Well, I mean, that.
Oh God! Okay,
Sad I wasn't close enough to make a joke, and then you did.
That is where we're gonna go to break. Because I need a minute. That's perfect. Oh
Robin
my God.
died.
Oh. Holy shit, Felix. Okay. So this.
He didn't miss a beat.
No, he didn't. So that is where we're going to go to break. We're going to take a quick 20-minute break, and we will be right back to see how this plays out, or if if we finish it. I don't know.
Or
We'll
if
see
it
what
plays out.
happens.
See, we're on time pressure. So if at some point down the road
Yeah.
the thing suddenly tilts forward again, this time we don't save it. We just let it go.
Just let it go. Just let it go.
I mean, if
Final
this
prayer.
thing crashes,
I'll let you get away with it that time.
I'm saying-
If it happens again, I'll let you get away with it.
John's got oats in one hand and Otto in the other, and he's screaming, "Boat mode! Boat mode! Boat mode!"
All right, so we will be back shortly so that we can get the exciting conclusion or non-conclusion of this story.
Save me, Devil Golem!
We're back. Still doing stuff. So right before the break, we went to break because Felix made a funny joke and I needed a second to breathe. So
Lady Caroline annihilated Robin Goodfellow.
yeah, basically.
With
it
words.
was incredible. So we're in the envelope of the ship. Father Iago has died, and they found his rosary and figured out that it has a key inside of it, and they are just at the point of trying to figure out what has happened. So everybody make a focus and composition difficulty 3 test.
He was
Boy.
such a nice old man. I'm gonna name a parrot after him.
What the fuck?
All right.
Are you real? That was...
Nope, definitely not.
So yeah, and then let me know what your final thing is.
Otow.
I keep getting results.
Oh.
It don't matter.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
See, the thing with deck games is the further into the deck you go, you
Okay.
know that Doom card is still in there.
It's creeping up ever so
It's
slowly.
coming up. I'm gonna call it. Robin's getting the Doom card.
Did you guys already subtract the difficulty?
I have not.
Okay.
I've not yet.
Okay. All right.
I got 7, yo.
All right. So
-2.
yeah, it's so Oates knows that something has happened.
Okay.
Does he even know that?
Unfortunately,
He does.
what
He
you
knows
know
that.
is that there's a
He
rip
knows
in
that.
your parasol.
He's mentally shopping for a bird.
Yeah, he is. He's thinking about parrots. It's real bad. So
Oh,
Lady
and
Caroline.
a tiny umbrella for a bird, a parrot saw.
Oh, but
Boom!
So all of you notice
But-
that the crew members, kind of as this is all happening, they kind of look really confused to each other. They kind of look back and forth amongst one each other, really confused, and then they look to Mr. Hay for guidance. Robin, you notice, and this makes sense that you notice this, that in addition to that, all of the crew members' uniforms have blood on them in places that they shouldn't be from helping pull this canister off of Father Iago.
Okay. This is what I do.
Okay.
Mr. Hay is the gentleman in charge?
Yeah. He's the cabin steward. He's the one that was like telling everybody what to do.
I
And
think his first name is Isaac.
yeah, Isaac Hay.
It's not Busher.
I'm gonna look at Lady Caroline and I'll be like, I believe we need to take control of the situation. And I'm gonna go to Mr. Hay and say, Mr. Hay, was it?
Yes. And they kind of, they're in the process of attaching the cylinder back to the deck or to the wall, so that it doesn't continue to fly around. And as you say this, he comes up and he kind of does this with his arms, and he takes a step toward everyone, and he's kind of like ushering you back to the gondolas below and back toward the hatch. And he says, I'm terribly sorry you had to see this. Despite the immediate danger of the cargo shift being passed, there is still unsecured material about, and we have far too much proof that it's not safe for any of you to be in here. Mr. Pivens, here, will you see to the body?
One moment.
And the guy has a tarp, and he says, and we'll make sure everything is properly looked after.
Well, on that note, this is Lady Caroline, Witchfinder Archdeacon, and I am Robin Goodfellow, Witchfinder Star. And we would like to do a little investigation along with our recently conscripted associates, Mr. Watson and Mr. Oates.
And I am Chief Steward
And
Hay,
Mr.
and
Otto.
you have no authority here.
Is that so?
Yes.
Lady Archdeacon, do you have anything to say about that?
We do have the authority here, and we will be continuing our investigation uninterrupted.
And he says, I believe you have misunderstood me to have asked you a question. It is time for you all, as passengers, to return to your cabins now.
Utterly ignoring him. I'm still searching this area, trying to figure out how all this stuff came loose.
Get him.
So if nobody makes a move, he's going to make a presence and command check against you all.
Okay.
Okay.
So
You haven't like shared why you think this to the rest of us, right? You just kind of started in.
No, I've just puffed up my chest and started doing things like I do.
as he does. As he does.
Well, Mr. Robin, what is it that seems to be the problem?
Well,
So he makes a presence and command of 6.
Okay.
So
How do we defend ourselves?
in order to do that, it is going to be, I think it's, pretty sure it's will and composure.
Okay.
Okay. And we're at -6.
That's what we're going to go with.
all right.
Yeah, this is a difficulty 5. No, difficulty 7. Sorry.
Shit. I'll
Can I
put this
try-
dude away.
Can I try and pull rank on him instead?
After you do this test.
Okay. Because I was going to say I wanted to use command instead of composure to try and pull rank on him, but
I got. I'm about to end this dude's career. It's focus and composure?
Will and composure.
Oh, will and composure. Okay, so that's.
and the difficulty was 6.
7.
Okay, -3.
Ooh, if it's 7, I'm only
It's
at
-1 after 7.
If it's a 7, I'm only at a 1.
Well, he and so. Wait. What did Oates get?
Oates got a -3, but Otto.
One can't be intimidated.
He can't. It's a part of
So-
being an automaton.
Yeah.
The best way to put this is that he has ordered you all to go downstairs, and all of you feel compelled to do that.
Very well.
Right.
While
I
we're
say,
going,
old chap, what are you hiding? As we head down the ladder.
And he says, I'm trying to keep all of you safe, as he like ushers you down. And then as soon as everybody is safely down,
Balderdash, if you wanted safety, you'd have the
says-
best brains on this ship. Slam the door. I'm still talking. Yeah.
and he says, we will update you as soon as we have learned what is happening on the ship.
if we're dealing out updates, perhaps we can start with the nature of those bloodstains on your men.
The hatch closes.
He really is a very nice man when you get to know him.
I doubt that.
How high off the water are we right now?
Wait, what? Say that
How
again.
high off the water is the airship right now?
Oh,
Because we dropped it, and
yeah, you're still like hundreds of, like thousands of feet.
Okay.
It's still real high because the ship was flying at a super high altitude already. And so when it dropped, it's still really high up in the air. So he comes down and he locks the door, and Dr. Montalban and everybody that's down there is they're like on you in a second to try to, figure out like, oh, what happened, and asking you questions.
First one that comes at me gets the dull end of my cane right in the middle of their chest. I'm not hitting them. I'm just using it to maintain space.
Back. Oh, the Archdeacon will be happy to inform everybody on the nature of the situation. And he just stands next to all officials. Bus underneath.
They all
This is why his sister doesn't travel with him anymore.
Yeah, right. They all kind of look at you, Archdeacon. They're all kind of waiting.
It's like a wink.
At this time, I do not have anything to share with you, as there's currently an ongoing investigation. So please return to whatever you were doing.
What are you investigating?
Official witchfinder business. It's confidential.
Correct. I can't share that with you, I'm afraid.
You heard the woman. Get to the other end of the cart.
And one of them asks
with
where
the
Father
proper accent.
Iago is. But Dr. Montalban kind of does a head count, and he, where's Father Iago?
Perhaps you did not hear me, but we have nothing to share, including that. Return to what you were doing.
He does not return to what he's doing. He doesn't question you anymore, but he doesn't leave any of your sides necessarily either. Everybody else kind of fucks off.
Okay.
So they're kind of like, I don't know about this kind of thing.
It's all right. I'll run crowd control. And then there's constantly an effort for Robin to be between Mr. Montalban and Lady Caroline at all times.
So what's y'all's plan currently? What are you?
Well, I want to share the plan, but I don't want to tell the other guy.
You can. I mean, you can.
I want to get rid of him.
Kind of go to one of your personal cabins.
If you signal me, I can get rid of him.
All right. Robin.
You're fairly certain you could go to your personal cabin and like. Okay. He's not intruding on your space. He's not being aggressive. He's just.
Okay.
He's just. Yeah.
Well, I think I just say like, all right, let's go somewhere else. Speak in private, and we walk somewhere else.
So
good day to you all. The rich finders will make sure you're all safe. And he goes on.
Indeed.
And so you go into your cabin, and what's the plan?
All right. So I found this key on the body, on the crucifix that you located. Perhaps there's something in his chambers we could look at.
Also, I'm no forensic analyst, but the crew members got blood on their uniforms, inconsistent with what they would have gotten from helping out our dear departed father.
Mm-hmm.
Which I found interesting.
He was your dad?
No, it's a title. It's a title, Mr. Oates. Are you real?
Well, I suppose I'm as real as any of us can be in this waking dream that we call life.
I picture it as a huddle, and there's just like occasionally a foot pushes Otto away from the huddle.
So are we going to Father Iago's cabin?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
So the door is locked.
Use the key.
I don't think it's that kind of key.
It is not that kind of key. but it's locked, and you know that you could, you can try to pick the lock, and they're wooden doors. They're not fairly difficult to get to bust down.
Airship, right?
I'm so sorry, Mr. Otto. Just to slide it open. Is it a little slidey door?
No, it's like a yeah.
Okay.
If I may,
my giant robot.
I would like to pick up Otto and use him as a ram to break the door down.
You throw your back out.
Jesus. If you want to have Otto try to bust open the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually.
See what this machine can do.
It's going to be a lower difficulty for him, of course.
It's got a power of the devil behind it. It's probably
going to be a vigor. It's going to be. I guess it would be vigor and it depends on how is he trying to do this.
I mean, he's just giving it a good hard shove.
And that would be vigor and athletics.
Okay. I mean, he's also got that steam punch.
Yeah.
I mean, he can just grab it and activate the steam punch thing.
Is he doing the steam punch or is he just trying to push it open?
Sure, I'll do that.
Okay.
It's a one shot. What the hell?
So it's going to be a difficulty 5.
Okay. All right. So that puts me at 5. Puts him at 5.
Okay. Let's see that card.
So that's that. That's that. Draw. Do you have just a 0 hanging out up there? Oh man, doesn't. I'm not able to do it.
What are you not able to do?
Oh, he doesn't. I'm trying to drag the card out.
Not to mention, you just repeated the most hurtful sentence I ever heard in high school. Is that 0 still standing out there?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he gets it. He gets it right at a -1.
-1. Okay, so he kind of he hits the door frame, and it budges a little bit, but it doesn't break open.
Stand aside. Let the tools what God gave you take care of it.
Okay. What are you doing? You busting?
I'm a busted.
Okay.
Robin, please take care of this already. We don't have all day.
Vigor and athletics, difficulty 5.
Behold my vigor.
I'd rather not.
Okay, well, fine.
I'll be honest.
I got 2 vigor. I
don't
have
even
no
want to watch
athletics.
you hold your own vigor at this point.
Here come the card. It's a -2. I get a 0.
So you try to push on it a couple of times, and then you step back and you take you can't take a run and go because this hallway is only so wide, but you kind of shoulder it.
Yeah.
And the door you hit the door as the door busts open, and you kind of fall in opposite directions and you land on your ass. You're fine, but it was not pretty.
Just like I planned it.
Don't worry about it, Otto. You loosened it for him. Good job.
And when you go inside, it looks just like the other 2-person cabins. He wasn't sharing his cabin with anyone, so the top bunk is forward against the wall. There's a garment bag on the wall. There's some shirts and slacks. There's an empty wooden hanger that you assume would be for his jacket. There's a big travel chest made of dark hardwood with leather trim and a brass studding around it. And you can see that it was probably beneath his bunk, but when everything happened, it has skid out into the middle of the floor. And there's a Bible and there's contents of a shaving kit and loose papers and pens, and the bedding is just kind of all over the place from everything that happened when the ship kind of upset.
I'd like to look at the chest.
Okay. So it's this super nice, well cared for chest. You can either try to lockpick it, or it could be smashed open, but it would be noisy, and the lid would have to be broken entirely off.
I'd first try the key I found, if that fits the chest.
It does not.
Okay.
I'm gonna go find the purser back in the public area, the lounge area. Usually you would have a purser on board that was in charge of all the valuables and whatnot.
There are no crew or staff down here right now.
We don't have
Well,
time for
in that
this.
case,
Let
I'm
me
trying to
see.
get back up on the envelope.
We don't have to-
There's
I
three
wanna
of them down
see
the hall
if,
looking at this.
We don't have time for this. I pull out my gun and I shoot the lock.
Oh,
Okay. So
This is a look at
Yep,
Lady
that's
Caroline like a
So
kindred
the-
soul.
the lock, it kind of busts open, and you open it up, and there's a
a
carefully
shot
folded
bunny rabbit.
set of vestments. Yeah, right. It's just a dead animal. He had a secret child that was in there, and you just shot and killed him.
No, nothing in here.
What's that up again?
Inside, there's vestments. There's that are, I mean, just insane quality, super nice. There's a little travel kit with like a magisterial mass and kind of stuff like that. There's a set of clothes that range from like workman's garb, and then there's a journal filled with notes and sketches, like handwritten notes and sketches. And if you open the journal, it's just got these strange coded phrases, and parts of it are written in cipher. But even without being able to decipher it, it's clear that he traveled a lot, and he was a specialist in capturing and binding dangerous creatures. And if you flip
Ooh, a
through
puzzle.
it further,
Let me see it. Let me see it. Let me try.
There you go.
if you flip through it further,
Shut up.
the last few pages, Oates would see this if you pass it off, that on the last few pages, you kind of flip through it, Oates, and you find there's a few pages detailing a trip to Brazil. And he talks about these rumors of this fey creature called a Nahul that was slaughtering Jesuit missionaries in the Amazon. So that's why he was in Sao Paulo. He hunted the creature down and managed to capture it. The final entry is dated 2 days ago. It mentions something you can't quite figure out, but you can get that it says it's about a delivery to a safe house for further study, but it doesn't specify where that is, or anything else.
You don't
Wow,
suppose
this is
he was...
just so amazing. Mr. Iago, he was hunting down a Nahul because it was killing a bunch of Jesuits, but he was able to find it. But now he's got to take it to a safe house someplace. Oh, I wonder if it's somewhere up in storage, or if it's dead, or if it's maybe it's what that lock is to. I mean, the key for the lock to where the Nahul is. Anyway, I'm gonna look at these
Nahul.
puzzles.
So anybody that wants to can do a reason mysteries test to see if you know what a Nahul is. And is anybody still looking at the chest?
I am.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm following Lady Caroline's lead.
Okay. I'm gonna get to you, Kevin.
Oh, no worries. I'm in no rush. I can die at your earliest convenience. It's not an issue.
Well, I can tell you this: to get that hatch open, it is like 3 inches thick plate steel.
Yep.
So in order to get it open, it takes 3 consecutive successful vigor and athletics checks of difficulty 10.
I have another plan.
Oh boy.
Okay. Okay, so is that a 3 on the
That's just...
reason to mysteries?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a difficulty 5, so you don't know what
Mine's
it is.
I have a 1. Actually, I have a 2. Sorry, my
You
mistake.
also don't know what it is.
And
What
I'm
about
not.
Oates?
I'm not trying to figure out the Nahul. I'm looking
Okay.
at the cipher and puzzles,
Okay,
the code.
all right. I'm gonna get to that in a
I
second.
wish Spencer was here. He'd probably know.
And you are looking at the chest, right, Lady Caroline?
Mm-hmm.
So you can do a focus in burglary or focus in investigation, difficulty 3, to check this thing out.
Okay. Ooh. So 8, difficulty 3 is 5.
All right. So you notice that the space inside the chest is smaller than it should be.
Okay.
So you kind of look at it closer and you find a seam that runs all the way around the lining. And when you fold it back, there's a finger hole, like a finger hole to pull up a false bottom.
Okay.
And in that false bottom, there you find there's a single stiletto.
Why would he only have one shoe?
You beat me by this much.
Indeed, this is most suspicious.
A garrote, a small hammer, half a dozen of thin iron nails, a velvet-lined hollow nesting it's like a little box. You open it and it's got these 2 white candles in it. There's fine copper spools, silver spools, and gold wire spools. And there's a other little box that contains like a fragrant incense cone. Kind of looks like a pine cone, but it's got like a different smell to it. There's a gold and crystal reliquary that contains a finger bone suspended in golden wire and a leather folio. The leather folio is about the size of a newspaper folded in half. It's got like a weird braid made of delicate metal chains at the top, bottom, and each side. And there's a cross in the middle in the front that has a small keyhole in it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Miss Lady Caroline, I know what all of this is.
Oh, what is this?
Yeah, you see, back in London, a good friend of mine, Mr. Spencer, he had a gift shop, Mr. Spencer's Gifts, and they sold all kinds of stuff like this. It was really popular with angsty teenagers.
I worked with a Spence. Would I recognize these as monster hunting supplies?
You would recognize this as,
like, is this the kind of shit that Spencer and Jessica and carry around? And like,
no, this is a little bit different. Now, you might have seen Jessica carry some of this stuff.
Okay.
But not this specific stuff.
Okay.
You can do a reason and mysteries.
Okay, let me see how much reason and mysteries. I'm still waiting for that Doom card.
And while he's doing that, are you gonna try the key?
Yep, definitely.
Okay. So it works, and unlocks it, and inside. What? I missed it.
I got.
Oh yeah, you don't.
I got like minus a billion.
Yeah, you're like, this is some random stuff. I don't know, man.
He attempted,
can't remember my dad.
He tried to summon the Doom card, missed, but only by that much.
Technically, you should put a condition on yourself. You failed so bad, but it's fine.
Being Robin kind of is a condition.
I know, exactly.
Ouch!
Lady Caroline, when you open this folio, there are a bunch of loose pages and pieces of paper. There's Greek, Hebrew, Latin, some strange script that you've never seen. You can make a check to see if you know what it is. That'd be another reason in mysteries.
Sure.
Does anybody have mysteries of 3? That's in the room right now.
Like at rank 3?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. Then you would automatically recognize it as Enochian.
Okay.
So, and then there's also a few pieces of like modern day paper with the same handwriting that was in his journal. And if you take a few moments to look at it, you can figure out that Father Iago was a high-ranking member of the Inquisition.
Nobody ever suspects.
And with your mysteries knowledge, you would also know that all this random stuff that you found are the reagents needed to perform a powerful magical rite.
I share all this with everybody. He's not-
and meanwhile, Watson.
Yes. You said, I figure it's a big metal door right away. Well, that's That's easy because people do a dumb thing. They put big metal doors and really weak wooden walls. So I start poking the holes in the walls around the trap door. Like you said, it's in the ceiling, right? Going up.
Yeah, it's all metal though.
Okay. There goes that plan. In that case, I'm getting up there. I will take my cane and start smashing out the windows of this gondola. I'm climbing outside if I have to.
All right. Do you want to try to?
They want him
try
out of
to
that
bust
area
open
way
the hatch?
Too bad. No, it seems to me it'd be easier to break a window and climb outside. Bravery is not John's issue.
All right.
John Watson is James Bonding out the side of this fucking blimp.
Yep. He's trying to solve the problem. John is very simple. Find a problem, solve a problem.
No, stop trying to steal a card from my hand.
Sorry.
Stop.
Denied.
Can you fucking calm down? Jeez.
All right, I want to see if you have the Doom card.
I don't. If anybody's wondering, I just got a pop-up on my screen that said Puck Lord of Chaos is trying to steal a card from your hand. And I had an option to pick Let It Go or No Way.
Fine.
And I picked fucking no. There's actually a thing for this. You can do... So this glass is super thick. So you can do a... Oh my gosh. I know it's in here somewhere.
Fisticuffs? What? Grace and fisticuffs? Grace and athletic?
How are you trying to do it?
I mean, it's a weighted cane, so I'm holding the pointy end, and the big end that would normally be in my hand is like a wooden ball that big around, and I'm baseball batting the window with that end.
Okay, so then that's just going to be Grace and Melee.
Okay.
And that's going to be difficulty... Oh, there it is. Difficulty 6.
Dun, 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 dun.
You do it?
That's a 6.
Boom.
So you get a 0, right? Final?
Yep.
Okay. So you just you hit it like a bunch of times and nothing is happening. And Watson, you just get pissed and you just rear back and like the glass in the area that you're, cause it's like partitioned.
Yeah.
Like
it's
it's a big window, but it's like partitioned.
Yeah. That'll
And so this part that you're hitting at, it breaks.
Okay. And I'll start just shoving it out the hole, and then I'm going to start climbing outside. I'm climbing the outside of this blimp until I find a place to get in.
So it's a big canvas
Yep.
with no handholds. So I'm really curious about how you're doing this.
There's got to be rope somewhere. I don't know.
I mean, you can find rope, but what do you...
I am trying to find some other way into the envelope. There's no way that crew is keeping me out of that envelope. That's his plan right now.
So the glass doesn't go up to the envelope. So if you do manage to climb on the side of it, you'll go up and there's like the section where it just becomes all canvas because it kind of sits above.
Well, he knows how these things are built. There's an outer envelope. I will cut a hole in the envelope.
Yeah.
With the end of my cane and work my way back in. But that's going to take me time. So go back to these guys.
Yeah.
We gonna die.
I gotta think on what tests you need to make for that. So I'm gonna come back to that.
Yep.
So anyway, you guys have figured out that that this guy, he was on a mission to trap a dangerous fey creature, and he captured it, and he was taking it somewhere, you don't know where, for safe disposal, I guess.
Well, this is great. Why not send it through the post next time instead of getting it on an experimental aircraft?
Is there any chance, because I was going through trying to decode the stuff, that I can find anything helpful there?
Yes. You can do a...
Maybe we can find out what the ritual was for.
You can do a reason and mysteries, Lady Caroline, and Oates
Okay.
can do. We'll say reason and intuition.
Robin will do the crossword puzzle.
Is there any chance I can do
That's-
reason and science to break the code? I mean, I don't have to know what it means to be able to figure out the letters.
Yeah, fuck it, why not?
All right, good. Because that's just better than
Kevin's on the side of the ship, so. Watson, we might be about to lose Watson because to climb on the side of this thing is not going to be easy for him.
Welcome to Table Flip.
Not great, not bad. I don't know if it works.
Let's see, 43. So but both of you working together, Lady Caroline and Oates, are kind of able to figure out that this is a old Spanish rite. It was it's like from the 16th century, and that these materials are the materials needed to perform this rite. And you also are able to figure out that Caroline, based on your prior knowledge of magical rites, if you could get this translated, because it's in Church Latin, if you could get the rite translated, you think you could figure it out what it is.
Okay.
Well, but aren't you a priest? Don't all priests know Latin?
I mean,
Now,
do
here's
I know Latin?
so you can here's a fun game mechanic. There's a game mechanic called Purpose and Ether. So you can spend a point of purpose to cause something plausible to happen. So in this instance, you could spend a point of purpose to say that Lady Caroline does indeed know Church Latin.
Done.
Okay. So please remove 1 point of purpose from your character sheet.
Okay. Done.
On purpose.
Okay. So you're able to figure it out, and this is a rite called Imprison the Unnatural. And I will put that in everyone's journal, assuming that it will be shared. So it should be under handouts. But basically, it's a ritual that you cast on a box. And then when you put a creature in the box, they cannot escape that box unless it is destroyed or unless the time passes. So it's like a 7-day thing.
Okay.
So if more than a week goes by, it just ends.
The creature gets
Oh
out.
no! What
Yes.
if that box is up somewhere in all of the cargo that was shifting around and it got broken or cracked?
Most likely.
And then about that time, the phone starts ringing in the lounge.
Hello.
So you go into the lounge, and
Well,
here's
we're
what you
near
see.
the lounge, so cool.
Here's what you see when you go into the
Very long
lounge.
cords.
There's like a rope tied to like the bottom of a bolted table
Mhm.
and a busted window, and Watson is nowhere to be seen. So that's that.
Well,
But you answer the phone. You pick up the phone.
It's like, well, I was close to doing that myself. Hello, we got a broken window down here. Maybe you want to send somebody from maintenance. Also,
So
I think
when you
Mr.
pick up
Watson's
the
coming for a
phone-
visit.
When you pick up the phone, it's a man yelling, and he says, "Don't give him den fabricant!" And he starts yelling at you in like broken up German and English, and he
Prussian.
starts yelling questions, and he says, "Hello, who is this? Who am I talking to? Do you know what's happening? There's a mutiny. You must not trust the crew." Well, except for me, I'm not mutinying. I've only stopped because stopped the engines because there is a mutiny, and I do not want them to go wherever it is they're wanting to go. And there's like banging in the background, like a heavy metallic thud. And he pauses for a second, and he kind of lets loose a stream of words that you can only imagine are a whole bunch of German expletives. And then he kind of like doesn't say anything for a second. And if you don't
Who was on the phone, Mr. Robin?
if you don't respond immediately, he starts yelling again, and he says,
hang on.
Are you?
You're addressed in Robin Goodfellow, Witchfinder Star, representative of
Yes,
Queen.
great. There is a mutiny aboard the ship.
I was worried I might have to do this another way. That's a relief. Thank you so much. What is your location?
I'm the chief engineer. I'm inside the engine car. I've turned off the engines. So basically, he tells you that he has sealed himself into the engineer car.
Okay.
And his name is Hans Schlussel.
I love him.
And then kind of you hear like the pounding. There's like pounding again, and you kind of hear him. He kind of like does the thing where he takes the phone away from his ear, and he says, "I will destroy the engines before I let you take this ship." And he kind of comes back, and so basically the Egret is drifting now.
All right, we'll be there in a little bit. And he hangs it up.
Please hold.
And he says, Lady Caroline, I think we have a weapons live situation here. Seems that the ship has a mutiny.
And the Hawk, the man that you didn't see in the beginning of the journey, and then he came upstairs, he comes over and he says, Is that Slushel?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
There's
And
children. Mr. Huck, please.
And he says, he kind of explains to you, and he says, Hans was the senior engineer at Gearstrip Industries, and he trained me, but 3 years ago he left to pursue a more generous salary, I guess. And he kind of talks himself into a tale, and he ends up confessing to you all that he's actually here to steal the ship's design. He was actually here to steal the patent.
Oh.
That's very interesting, but I don't know that really helps us out right now.
And he kind of tells, he kind of swears to help do whatever he can, and he tells you that he is trained in the operation of the ship.
That's fine. Now I know who to shoot. And I lean out the window, the broken window, and I look for Watson to see it.
Yep. So speaking of Watson,
Yes.
I hated you the most.
This video overlays about to get one player shorter.
Yeah, it is. Make a grace. No, hold on.
May I, before I even roll a thing, may I burn a point of purpose to find one of the mooring ropes?
Yeah, that's fine. You still have to make a difficult check to get safely out onto the ledge.
Yep.
Which is going to be vigor.
It's just pure strength, isn't it? It's like vigor.
Yeah,
and
it's just vigor and athletics.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficulty 10.
So this is what happens when you think you're much younger than you actually are.
Oh shit!
Here comes the Doom card.
Oh wow!
Any minute now.
I don't even need it. No, we don't need no Doom card.
Ooh.
God.
That is a -1 minus whatever the difficulty is.
So the difficulty's 10.
So -11. Let me just type this in. Let me give you a second to think. I'm just going to type this into chat. -11.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enter.
Yeah.
Oh, that felt
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It's been a very long time since one of my characters died.
Catastrophic.
DM lesson.
So, yeah, Watson, like kind of, Robin, you poke your head out, and you poke your head out at the moment when Watson is like trying to climb up to the next level.
Yeah.
And you distract him, and he like falters, and
It's your fault.
he sees you, and he loses his grip, and he starts to fall.
Does he fall? Is like he falling?
He's falling
in air. He's gonna die. Okay.
Well, you're above an ocean, so you know,
He's
might
but
not
still
die.
thousands of feet above the water. He's gonna die.
Yeah, he's got a long time to fall, so he starts to. Oh, go ahead.
Oates runs and he sees it and he turns around and he says, "Mr. Oates, or sorry, Mr. Otto, go!" and Otto runs and jumps out of the window, and he's really heavy, and he like compacts himself in.
Get him.
And
That's my favorite one.
And grabs Mr. Watson in air. And you know this because I sent you the thing. His two legs fold up inside of themselves, and at like where the knees would be, the rockets go.
Yep.
And Otto, who has the fly asset, flies
Yep.
Mr. Watson and lands him and stands and puts him back into the dirigible.
Uh-huh.
This is not ideal.
Yeah. So that happens, and basically as soon as he sets him down, the phone rings again. And
Lady Caroline, you want me to get that?
I'll get
Look
that.
what happened last time you answered the phone. They threw Mr. Watson from the plane.
What did he do and say on his way down when this robot? It's just,
I had a whole thing, but forget it. He
he just leans out the window. Where he's like, "Oh, Mr. Watson! Whoa!
yeah.
Oh shit!"
That's 100% what happens. And you do the impact of all this happening, and even though he catches you, you are at a -2 wound penalty to all actions right now.
Okay.
Because you were at the height you were at above the window, you fell at least 10 feet into his arms.
Yeah.
So we'll say -1 wound penalty.
Oh god.
I had a whole fall into the death scene all written.
Sorry.
And what's you on that?
It was going to be magnificent.
Rocket robot.
Yeah.
Fucking Astro Boy over here.
So anyway, the phone rings. Lady Caroline picks it up.
Yes, hello, Lady Caroline speaking.
And the same voice says, "Help! All hands to the pilot car!" And you hear the blood squelch on the phone. And as you hear the blood squelch, you hear the gunfire, the shattering of glass, and what sounds like the roar of some beast mingled with the screams of humans and crew fighting for their life. And then there's a loud crash. So because you're all kind of gathered in the lounge here, you can see the window of the pilot car. And what you see is the glass on the side that you can see explodes outwards. And a body goes hurtling out into the air and plummets down towards the ocean. getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And then there's kind of a moment of silence where all you can hear is the wind blowing through the now, once again, shattered side of this ship. There's a low moan with the sound of something, sounds like something being dragged. And then words in a language you don't understand, whimpering, pale screams of agony, and then a whistling sound. And it's all very bizarre. And then there's a series of wet snaps that sound like when you break a tree branch. And there's maybe 30 seconds between each of those wet snaps. And then the whistling that you heard stops and you hear laughter. And then you hear more words in that foreign language. And anybody that wants to can make a focus and composure.
All right.
Absolutely.
I can focus my composure all day.
Ooh. I got that fate card.
Oh, shit.
Your eyes light up.
Yeah, right? Beams shoot out from your eyes. Okay, so it looks like Watson sees it too.
Bewildered, sitting on the deck, being held by a robot.
So you see the body that flew out of the pilot car. You two, I think, and only you two, it looks like. So Lady Caroline and Watson are able to see that is the body of Hay. And Watson, give me a reason and medicine test.
Great pleasure.
It's going to be a little higher difficulty just because you were just almost dead, but...
That is a 10.
Okay. Yeah, so you know that sound that everybody else thinks is branches breaking, you recognize that sound as the sound of ribs breaking.
Mm-hmm.
So you know that there is somebody or something breaking ribs in that pilot car.
I say, damn it, you should have let me fall and we're all going to die up here now.
Run up. Lady Caroline, is this confirmed that this is a weapons live operation now?
Yes.
Click.
And John reaches into his waistcoat and pulls out a revolver. Click.
Well, I guess if that's what we're doing. And out of he has a little derringer, and you see Otto, one hand flips around and it's like a shotgun. The other hand flips around and it's a sword.
Nice.
Well then.
It's a fucking robot.
Okay, that's official. We are now the most heavily armed party that has ever played Clockwork Dominion.
I want to see this show as like a Scooby-Doo era cartoon. Yeah. Narrator, do we have time for combat or should we wrap up?
Well, so is your guys' plan to try to get up into the thing? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
So there is still the issue that the hatch is closed and locked.
All right.
Well, but there's a broken window where we are, and then we can see the broken window of the place that we want to go.
I think everybody grabs onto Otto.
Exactly.
Yes.
Do you suppose Otto could fly us up there?
Well, he could probably easily do one or two at a time, but I mean, then you'd be there by yourself.
Then I'll go first.
Oh, or
Lady Caroline!
So as you guys are discussing this, there's another round of screams.
Oh, good. I'm
And
glad. I thought
cries.
you were going to say the phone was ringing.
The phone
Hello?
rings again.
Grab onto something.
Hello, it's the monster.
And then as you are making this, as you are kind of, and then the screams kind of stop, and you can hear, because it's metal, right? So it kind of clanks. You can hear something right above you, and you hear the hatch turn.
Unpointed.
And the hatch opens.
Guns drawn.
As it begins to
Let's
twist,
blow this thing up.
as soon as it kind of releases, all you can smell is blood. And an old, bald, naked man jumps down from the hatch. And what you can see of his face and neck, he's splashed with blood. He's got kind of like, he's not quite bald, but he's got very short kind of, yeah, he's got more hair than Kevin.
Wow.
I mean, I'm just trying to be accurate.
All right.
And he jumps down, and he's kind of got that, and he's super
DeVito.
skinny, like
Okay, then definitely not Danny DeVito.
unhealthily skinny. And he kind of sips down, and he goes, and he's got blood all over him. And the mother of the kids is here, and she just hits the fucking floor. She just faints.
I'm shooting this dude.
Yeah, that was. Pardon me, sir. I won't have to see your ticket.
Even as you raise your gun, he pisses on the floor.
Mhm.
All right.
And
Well, now I don't have to raise the gun to his chest.
he just ignores you and starts walking towards Father Yago's cabin.
Can I grab him?
You can certainly try.
I want to throw him out the window.
Yep.
You can certainly
Lady Caroline.
try.
He's like,
And
"Get out,
everybody,
you."
all of you make reason and mysteries checks.
Okay.
Still a better idea than emptying our pistols vertically into the gas bags of the. Sorry, what was this?
Hell yeah.
Reason and mysteries.
Okay.
All right.
Well, mysteries.
I got a 10.
Oh my god.
So, as soon as I find the thing I'm looking for.
I don't have mystery.
Perfect. I like this.
I'm a man of science.
Give me just a second.
A0. Minus whatever
Okay.
the difficulty was.
So it's difficulty 5.
So minus 5. Damn it, John's going to die. One way or the other, John's going to die tonight.
John dies at the end.
Okay, so just Lady Caroline.
Yeah, looks that way.
So
wait.
Lady Caroline, it suddenly dawns on you what a Nahul is. So,
Oh.
so a Nahul, is what basically the name for a dangerous shapeshifter. Shapeshifter?
Shapeshifter, yes.
Shapeshifter.
Shapeshifter.
It's fine. Seems fine. I don't know.
Paper.
Shapeshifters. I hate those guys.
So it's a shapeshifter that appears in like a bunch of Mesoamerican culture groups, and they have a reputation for secret knowledge and dangerous interactions with humans. They are fucking dangerous. And usually they end up trapping humans in one-sided deals or disproportionately harm them for any insults they suffer. And because you did so well in your test, you also know that a lot of them are revenge based. Like there are stories that Nahul's, like someone will come to Nahul's and make a deal and say, I want to get revenge on this person that wronged me. And the Nahul will go to that town and kill everyone in the town and kill everyone that ever knew the person that wronged them.
Mm.
And I'm
Definitely going to throw this thing out the window.
This confirms my course of action.
So
Goodbye.
I gotta find.
Nope.
I want her to do it. I want her to succeed so bad.
I want her to succeed.
How many points of purpose do you have to burn to channel waffles?
Yeah, right.
Just for a moment.
Just for one moment. Get that null strength.
Okay, so what are you doing?
Because we're just came down the hatch, so I literally just want to grab this thing and throw it through the already broken window.
Okay.
Yep.
So.
Snake walks. Nope.
Problem solved.
I've got a thing for this. Okay.
If there's any way I can assist her, I will.
I'm trying to find his stats that I know I have somewhere.
Just
Okay.
make up a number.
So, yeah, no. You would not like the number I make up. So you can make, so you're trying to like grab his arm, like what?
I'm thinking maybe like let me think. Is he about the same size as me? Or like?
To all appearances, he's a skinny old man. He's about 6 foot tall.
I think it's like arm and torso and just out.
Okay. So that would be a grace and athletics.
Okay.
Somebody throw auto at him.
Actually, it would
it's
be-
this little
it'd
like
be-
4 foot 10-inch granny. Just hey, yoink!
Yeah. It would actually be vigor and athletics. My apologies.
Vigor and athletics.
Because you're trying to use your strength. So
You can do it, Lady
Vigor.
Carol. Oh.
Not that great of a card. So I'd like to ask, is that how Ether works? You can redraw cards?
yes. And I think Lady Caroline.
'Cause I've got second chances here.
Yes. Lady Caroline, if you use a point of ether to redraw a card, you take the better of the two because of that asset.
So I'll spend a point of Ether, take
Okay.
that off.
To get a
and-
+5.
Oh, no, it's worse.
Oh, that's the
But
worst.
I get to take the higher result.
You get
at
to take the
least.
higher one.
Okay.
I mean, they're close, so it really doesn't. Okay, so what is your vigor and
So in total, this would be 2.
2? Okay. So
At
he
least it's a positive number.
Yep.
he will counter with grace and no.
And he gets the Doom card.
I know
Yes.
we haven't got cards, but can we interrupt at this point, or do you have to be in combat to do that?
We're getting to that. Here, just 1 second. All right, Lid, go back on the doctor. So he has to make, so his vigor and athletics, so he needs to counter with grace. I have so many things on the screen.
We're all just waiting with bated breath.
I know, I'm sorry, I can't see the cards.
What does he get? Does he get a Doom? Does he get a -4?
Okay, so he gets a 4.
Oh, boo!
So you go to grab him, and with like a speed that you have never seen before in your life, he is out of reach of you. And he kind of like stops and turns his head to you. And he says, I don't think you want to do that again. I know that you don't know how foolish that was of you, or what you are dealing with. So this is the one warning lesson I will give you. And he grabs one of the passengers and rips his throat open.
Oh.
In an instant. And then he like rips his heart out of his chest and takes a bite out of it.
Like an apple.
Mm-hmm. And he enjoys it too. This is not like, he's like, this is like fucking pizza to me. Like he's like, God, this is.
Negotiations have failed. Shoot him.
And then after doing that,
do something.
Yeah. What he will do is he'll start to walk the way that he was walking like originally.
Yeah, blam, 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 blam.
Just because I'm curious, where is he going?
Towards the cabins. Like towards the passenger
going
cabins.
to the father's cabin, yeah. So Robin, you're shooting the bad guy?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so
John points his pistol straight up and starts shooting the gas bags.
Okay, so we're gonna do
We're
initiative.
all going down in the flames here.
I'm gonna do initiative.
We might have to take this to another session, narrator.
Oh, shit. I know.
What a beautiful time to go to, and we'll pick it up next time.
Yeah.
Yep.
We are unfortunately
Nope.
out
John
of
hits
time.
a gas tank and we explode, and we.
This is done in 5 seconds. Just let me pull the trigger.
Well, see, but where you can't get to the gas bags from where you are right now.
Well, I mean, we're in the
So
thing. They're above me. I can see the blimp.
No, you're in the gondola, like the passenger gondola.
Yep.
You're not in
Okay.
the envelope.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
Well,
by the way,
I'm afraid we have to stop there.
Yeah.
As spine-tingling as it is.
Yeah.
But we have to prepare for our other show.
Sean and I have an hour before we got to do this shit again.
We've got to go do another thing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you,
So,
BJ.
Thank you.
Come
Yeah.
back in an hour and then watch that guy DM.
Yeah, I'm gonna take her seat.
Yep.
She's gonna take my seat. Is this where you sit normally in
I'm gonna
the
take-
arrangement? No. Okay.
Yeah. No. I think I'm usually on the. I know I'm on the bottom in Deadlands. I don't know where I'm at in tonight.
All right. Well, thank you so
so-
much.
We should thank you to everyone that was here watching, and Felix for being here.
Thank you so
and
much.
It was
blessing
fun.
us
It was
with Lady Caroline. Sean, you were also here.
and you're here too.
You're here.
I was just kidding.
You're here too.
Kevin, God damn it. You fucking asshole.
You see, you had it was Lady Caroline was there to rein me in, but you had nobody for
Nobody, yeah,
John
yeah.
Watts.
No, I did not. Yeah.
Some players don't take you can't do that well, so I just decided to be that guy today.
And Oates and Otto,
Broke another pen.
thank you.
Well,
Ryan,
we just had
for
so much
gracing us
fun,
with
Sarah. Thanks.
your- Yeah. If everybody is cool with it, we'll pick this up and finish it in another session.
Yeah,
Figure it out,
and
sure.
a good way to stay tuned and keep track of when that might be happening is to check us out on our Discord. Follow us on Twitch.
Yes.
Follows are free, so you can keep track of everything we got going on. This episode is gonna get loaded up on our YouTube later when it's done. We're gonna be gone for an hour.
Yep.
We're gonna come back for our regularly scheduled program, The Mercenaries of Mischief. The story continues. Again,
Come
thank you so
back.
much.
Come back
Yeah.
in an hour for Table Unflipped.
And
Come
just
back
say,
for
so
Table Unflipped.
this was your first DM'd game ever, right?
Yes.
Just a
Yeah.
table.
Yes.
Holy shit, you did so well.
Nice job. Yeah.
Seriously.
Top shelf.
This isn't just herding cats. This is herding 4 belligerent cats with attitudes.
Yeah. Like you did amazing.
Thanks.
Nice work.